and welcome to episode 15 of the Casual Try Hard podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm James.
And today we're going to talk about war.
War of the Spark.
What is it good for?
Never changes.
It does never change.
Yeah.
We're really mixing our songs and stuff.
Yeah, we're mixing up all our references today.
That's fine. We're high quality.
Sure.
Okay, so we want you guys to tweet your game entries at us at Casual Tripod on Twitter using the hashtag CTHGame.
Yep, you can also email them to us at casualtryhardmtg@gmail.com, or you can send them to us on Facebook at casualtryhardmtg.
So build a cart that has $25 worth of pre-release cards in it.
Mm-hmm. From any vendor you want to, TCG Player, Channel Fireball, Star City, wherever you think you're getting the best deal.
And then send us a picture of that cart. You don't have to buy the cards.
You can if you want to, though.
Yeah. And then once the next set comes out, we will see whose cart was worth the most.
Mm-hmm. And we got a special prize for you.
Yeah. Currently, there's one entry.
That's you.
It's me.
Yep.
I'm winning.
Sure. I took my picture. I just haven't sent it to you yet.
I like winning. Let me have this right now.
Okay.
All right. So we are at the Myrtle Beach Games and Comics Studios.
Yep, with our good friend Juan, who's producing another video episode for us.
So hopefully we'll have some beautiful cards here between us.
Woo!
So you can follow along in the video.
Yep.
And we're going to try to make a goldfish list that we can post so you can follow along with the cards that we're talking about when you're listening to the audio version.
Yep, we'll try and keep them in order so you can go right down the list.
So we're going to talk about mechanics first.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the first thing is Planeswalkers matter, right?
Yeah, it's not really a mechanic, but it's kind of a theme of the set that everything else is built around. And it does add a whole bunch of complexity. So it's kind of treated as a mechanic. There are a whole bunch of Planeswalkers in this set.
36, not counting Tez.
Right. Yep. They're at Mythic, Rare, and Uncommon. It's the first time that's been done.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a Planeswalker in every pack.
Yep.
And there's also a whole bunch of cards that reference Planeswalkers in particular, like named Planeswalkers. And there's also cards that deal with Planeswalkers in some different ways.
Yeah, so there are cards that say if you control this Planeswalker, do this extra effect on the card. So there's Liliana's Triumph, which is your opponent sacrifices a creature.
Mm-hmm.
But if you control a Liliana Planeswalker, they also discard a card.
Yep.
Right, so there's a lot of cards like that, like the Triumph series, and then things like that. So there's a lot of things that matter, that Planeswalker text matters. It's similar to the Legend text in Dominaria.
Yep.
Right, so it was the same kind of thing. There was a Legend in every pack. Now we get a Planeswalker in every pack.
Yep. The next thing that's a mechanic of the set is a returning mechanic. I believe it was first in Scars of Mirrodin. I think was the first set it was in.
I'm going to go with Shore. I don't know.
Okay, I'm pretty sure it's Scars.
I believe you.
It's Proliferate. So Proliferate is you choose any number of permanents or players, and you add another counter of whatever type is already on that permanent or player. So it can be +1/+1 counters. It can be -1/-1 counters. It can be loyalty, poison, energy,
whatever.
Charge. Yeah, whatever it has, it gets another one.
Yeah, so in this set, a lot of the uncommon Planeswalkers will tick down to 1 loyalty, and then they don't have an uptick.
Right.
So the way to get additional activations is to proliferate on them.
Mm-hmm.
So the other mechanic, we only have 2 new mechanics because all the complexities wrapped up in Planeswalkers.
Right.
Is Amass.
Yep. So what's Amass do?
So Amass is you get the +1/+1 counter on a zombie army token that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have a zombie army token, you make one and then put that many +1/+1 counters on it. So there are cards with Amass 1. So you would make a 1/1, you'd make a 0/0, then put a +1/+1 counter on it.
Yep, so it'd be a 1/1.
Right? And then let's say you play a card that has Amass 2, you don't make another army, you just make your army that you already have get 2 +1/+1 counters.
Right. Also works with Proliferate.
Yeah, so you end up making one big army guy.
Right.
As opposed to making a bunch of smaller tokens.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that works really good with Proliferate, and it gives a lot of cards that don't typically have an impact on the battlefield.
Yeah.
They just have stapled a mass on a bunch of.
Yeah, like there's a there's a tormenting voice that costs 1 extra mana that has a mass 1.
Yeah, so it's like a 3 mana 1/1 that then has a tormenting voice stapled onto it. You can think of it like that.
Yep.
So this is a kind of a different mechanic, but those are the only 2 mechanics we have: is Proliferate and Amass.
Yep, because the Planeswalkers themselves are a little bit more complex than they've been doing in a lot of recent sets, and especially since they dialed them back into uncommon also.
Yeah.
We should note, going back to Planeswalkers, that there is something new that's happening with Planeswalkers, right? So Planeswalkers have static abilities now.
Oh, yeah. So all the Planeswalkers have effectively almost like an enchantment ability or an artifact ability.
Yeah, something ongoing that you don't have to activate them to have happen.
Yeah, and this is through all the rarities.
Yep.
So a lot of the uncommon Planeswalkers, maybe their down tick ability isn't that good, but maybe their static ability is good, or vice versa.
I'm looking at you, Dovin.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. I think Kiora has the best of both worlds.
I do too. I really like Kiora. We're going to talk about Kiora in a little bit here.
But yeah, so you have these cards that maybe having the Planeswalker around just for the static ability is important. So a lot of them have an odd number of starting loyalty and an even activation.
Right.
So they'll go from 5 to 3 to 1, and then they just hang out, and then you get their static ability. So it gives you almost like you end up with like an enchantment almost. So that's an interesting twist that we've not seen before.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Adds a lot of design space.
And it makes limited, it gives an extra wrinkle to limited because maybe you don't care about the down tick, but you need to kill the Planeswalker because you
got to get rid of that static ability.
The static ability. Yeah.
Yep.
So it makes limited different because it might not just be I have to kill every Planeswalker I see.
Right.
You can make a decision of this isn't all that good. I can let it sit on the board.
Well, I don't it's not limited in the past where you realistically can kill every Planeswalker you see. I mean, if there's a Planeswalker in every pack, when you're drafting, everybody realistically is going to have 3-ish Planeswalkers. So it's not like you can kill every Planeswalker you see.
Yeah, and they might not be worth killing.
Yeah. It's also going to make kind of a weird draft format also because the Planeswalkers in your deck are going to kind of eat into your non-creature spells, right?
Yeah.
So maybe your numbers have to change a little bit. Maybe instead of 18 creatures, you play 16 and 2 Planeswalkers and then your spells.
I think it depends on what your Planeswalkers are. There's the blue one that makes tutus and loots.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of a creature.
But then there's some that just don't have an effect on the board.
Yeah.
And they just kind of count as your non-creature. They're enchantments. So it just depends on what they do.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. So we wanted to go through, and we had talked about in Ravnica Allegiance how to approach brewing.
Right.
And how to put stuff together. So we wanted to kind of apply those same things here.
Right. There's a whole bunch of cards that we're really excited to brew decks with. And that's kind of how we're going to approach this episode. Is we're going to talk about some of the new cards because they're sweet and they're exciting. But we're not just going to go through the list of every cards because I think that gets boring. Yeah,
we could have done top 10 lists, and that would have been cool, but not as interesting as what kind of decks we see these cards slotting into or what kind of decks they might support.
Yeah, and we're also going to point out some unique synergies and some cool interactions that maybe you haven't noticed yet or feel inclined to build around.
Yeah. So I think the one you're most excited about, especially after seeing a Star City video, is an Amass deck.
Yeah, that looked super strong. I know we had talked in a previous episode and also in private about a Bolas control deck. And I believe it was Todd Anderson was playing a version of a Bolas control deck on their Versus series. And the direction he took it was a little bit different than what me and you had brewed up. And he built an Amass control deck where I think the only creatures he was running was Augur Bolas.
Okay.
But he was running Enter the God Eternals, which is
2 blue black.
Yeah, I think so. It's a 5-drop, and you do 3 damage to a creature, gain 3 life, and then amass 4.
You deal 4.
It's 4 damage.
Yeah, so it's deal 4, gain 4, amass 4, and then you mill someone for 4.
That's right. That's the other part.
So it's like one effect for each of the God Eternals.
Yep.
So it kind of reads like Siege Rhino.
Yeah.
Siege Rhino that needs a target, unfortunately.
Well, in some cases it's better than Siege Rhino though, because you're gaining the life, you're taking care of a thing, and you're left behind with a big body.
Yeah.
And especially if you can use the mill for some effect, namely with some of the jumpstart cards from guilds, like there's benefit in that. You're not just milling for nothing.
Yeah. So there's that card, and then
widespread brutality they were using as a wrath effect that leaves behind your army coincidentally.
Yeah, so it's 1 black, red, red, and you amass 2.
Yep.
And then your army deals damage equal to its power to each creature.
Yep. Each other creature.
Yep.
So it doesn't kill itself. Plays nicely with some of the other amass cards. Can lead to a pretty big blowout.
Yeah, so you can like end up with, if you have like a 3/3 army token, then you play widespread brutality.
Yeah.
You get a 5/5, and that should just punch everything.
Yeah,
and kill
it should just about wrath the board.
Yeah, and then you're left with a 5/5, and you get to swing in.
Yep, you get to swing in immediately.
Yeah.
That's kind of one of the cool things about a mass also, is that if the zombie token is already in play at the start of your turn, the counters you put on it are basically haste.
Yes.
You can swing in right away and deal a whole bunch of damage out of nowhere, especially with widespread brutality or whatever it is. You're clearing the way for it and, cracking in with a big dude.
Mm-hmm.
Another card that they didn't have in their deck, but I'm kind of excited to play with, is Dread Horde Invasion, which is kind of the new Bitter Blossom.
It's 1 and a black for an enchantment,
Yep.
and you amass 1 each turn.
Yep, and you lose 1 life.
You lose 1 life.
Yep. It also has some relevant text at the end, where if your zombie army at the beginning of combat has power 6 or more, it gains lifelink.
Okay.
So you can gain back some of that life that you've lost previously. And like I said, when you're playing with some of these other cards with the bigger amassed numbers on them, it's basically haste. So, you play this thing on turn 2. By the time you're ready for Enter the God Eternals or Widespread Brutality, your guy's probably going to be big enough to trigger the lifelink, and you're going to gain all that right back. Kind of hasty. Like, it's kind of dirty.
Yeah. So it's like Bitter Blossom, but different, right? Bitter Blossom goes wide.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to go tall.
Mm-hmm. But it's going to replace itself, too.
Yeah.
So, like, if something deals with your amass token, it kind of lets you start back over.
Yeah, you get to start making your big guy again.
Yep.
Which is good.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I don't know. I just worry that just having one big threat is easier to deal with at times.
Yeah, I mean, it can be.
Yeah. But, enchantments are always difficult to deal with, so that's probably going to just hang out there and just keep making 1/1s and 2/2s.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody main decks enchantment removal, and some colors don't interact with enchantments at all, so.
Speaking of colors that don't interact with enchantments.
Yeah.
Nicopolis.
Yeah.
He doesn't interact with enchantments.
No.
So we've got this kind of a mass, maybe Bolas control deck, but then we had been excited about just like a
straight Bolas control deck.
Bolas control deck. Like your win condition is -8 your Bolas, win the game.
Yeah. Similar to like what the Esper control decks were with Alt Teferi, win the game.
Okay, that was Alt Teferi, win the game in like 45 minutes.
Yeah, when your opponent decides that they don't want to play anymore.
Yeah, they've already cooked dinner. They've sick of hitting spacebar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bolas actually says you win the game.
Yeah, so a reminder, let me bring this up here. Bolas is blue, black, red.
Yep.
For 4 loyalty, a Bolas Planeswalker.
Yep.
And he has all the abilities of all the other Planeswalkers that are in play.
Yeah, it seems pretty good.
Seems good. +1, you draw a card. Your opponent has to either sacrifice a permanent or discard a card.
Mm-hmm.
So if they deal with Bolas, you have hard 3 for 1 them.
Yep.
-3 is destroy target creature or Planeswalker.
Seems good.
So if you don't want to copy their Planeswalker's ability, you can just
blow it up.
And then -8, each opponent who doesn't control a legendary creature or Planeswalker loses the game.
Conveniently, Bolas takes care of all of those legendary creatures and Planeswalkers.
Yes, he's kind of self-contained.
Yeah.
So we were interested in kind of coming up with a way to build kind of like an analog of the Esper control deck,
But with Grixis.
Yep. Far superior colors.
Yeah. I agree.
So, like
Stupid white cards.
Yeah. We can get them on islands, but we're not going to get them on planes.
No, definitely not. You're
too,
lucky to get me on islands.
That's just too far. So one card that looked cool was Angrist Rampage.
Yeah. It's a edict effect for basically any kind of permanent. You get to choose one. Target player sacrifices an artifact. Target player sacrifices a creature, or target player sacrifices a planeswalker, all for the low cost of a black and a red mana.
Yeah, so it kind of lets you deal with anything early on, like, there's a Carnage Tyrant. There's not a Carnage Tyrant anymore.
Yep. Like there's an opposing Bolas. There's no longer an opposing Bolas.
Yeah, so it kind of is a catch-all. Yep. It kind of fills the role that, like, Mortify fills. Mm-hmm. And then you have Bedevil from the previous set, which is black, red, instant, destroy target creature, planeswalker, or enchantment. Yep. I guess that's more the Mortify analog.
Right. And then it's not an enchantment, it's an artifact.
Artifact, creature, planeswalker.
Right. And then we also have Ionize, which is another card from a previous format. It's a colorless, a red and a blue. Mm-hmm. Counter a spell. That spell's controller takes 2 damage.
Yep.
I think that's pretty solid in this deck also. Kind of the analog to Absorb, right?
Yeah. Actually easier to cast than Absorb.
Yes. Yep.
So we kind of think this deck's going to be base black, and you're going to either splash red or blue.
Both.
Or both.
Yeah. I think you're probably going to be a little bit heavier red, because that way you get access to Lava Coil as an exiling spell.
Yeah.
Which is kind of relevant right now.
Mm-hmm. Like that kind of fills the Moment of Craving slot.
Yeah. Yep.
Except for it kills bigger things than Moment of Craving.
Right. And it exiles, which is very relevant.
Yeah. And then Deliver into Evil.
Which has some awesome artwork, by the way.
2 and a black for a sorcery. And you get to pick 4 cards from your graveyard. Mm-hmm. And if you control a Bolas Planeswalker, you put all 4 into your hand.
Otherwise, your opponent gets to pick 2 of them.
Mm-hmm. And then you have to exile Deliver into Evil. Yep. Because it didn't want awesome loops happening.
Oh, man, yeah.
Right. But basically, it's like a sorcery speed factor fiction. Mm-hmm. That, like, worst case for 1 less mana.
Yep. Out of your graveyard.
Out of your graveyard. So like, it's not like you're going to get 4 spells if you've gone long enough into the game.
That works pretty good with Enter the God Eternals.
It does, because you get back your 4/4 that Lightning Helixes them.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Well, that also mills. So you're filling your yard with things to get back.
Yeah. There's some synergies here that could be worked on. Like, that card might not be good enough, but it might also just be great.
Yeah. We will see.
But yeah, so there's some interesting stuff that's already in standard, and I really feel like we were talking about before for the podcast that they put power in the set, but power that's kind of spread out.
Yeah, they didn't make one deck great. The cards don't overlap a ton, so it's like they're all trying to push you to do different things. When we were coming up with this list, I mean, there was a ton of things that we were interested in building that aren't part of this list at all.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about a Gideon thing. He's nowhere in our show
here
today.
Yeah. But, like, they didn't, like, make a bunch of, like, awesome blue and white cards to just, like, push the Teferi deck that you have to play that. Right. So there seems like there's a good mix of, they made a bunch of good, kind of Grixis cards. Mm-hmm. So now you're interested in playing all these Grixis cards you couldn't play before.
Right.
So it's good that we might end up with, like, 2 control decks. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's good. Then I have to play against 2 different control decks. But, like, there'll be 2 control decks instead of, like, every game being, like, Hollowed Fountain. Okay, I know what I'm playing.
Yeah.
Right now you're going to see, like, okay, Watery Grave, what am I playing?
Right.
Right, and that'll be a good change to see.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
If that works out. So we're going to go from control to just big dumb stuff.
Oh, this deck sounds awesome. I'm really excited to play with this one.
So we've got kind of a Simic ramp deck when there's a bunch of kind of pieces laying around that might do something really good.
Yeah, so let me lay out a magical Christmas land for you.
Okay, I'm in.
Turn 1, Llanowar Elf.
Okay.
Turn 2, Kiora Behemoth Beckoner.
Okay, keep talking, Santa.
So, Kiora is 2 and a hybrid green-blue.
Okay.
For a Kiora Planeswalker.
Okay.
With starting loyalty 7. Her static ability is whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters a battlefield under your control, you draw a card.
That's good.
Yep. She has a neg-1 that untaps a permanent.
That's also pretty good.
Yeah. So turn 2, after you've played your elf, you play a Kiora.
Okay.
Turn 3, you play Bioessence Hydra.
Okay, we're gonna have to tell with people what this is.
So Bioessence Hydra is 3 generic, blue and a green.
Okay.
For a 4/4 Hydra. And let's see, when it comes into play...
Because enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter for each loyalty counter on a Planeswalker you control.
Yeah.
Remember, Kiora starts with 7.
Yeah. She'll have 6 after you cast this on turn 3.
And whenever one or more loyalty counters is put on a Planeswalker you control, put that many +1/+1 counters on Bioessence Hydra.
Yeah.
So you get like a 10/10 Trampler on turn...
On turn 3.
On turn 3?
Oh, and you draw a card off of Kiora.
Oh, yeah, and you draw a card.
Yeah.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I'll take
seems
that.
Great.
I'll take that.
It's also, like, all of these cards are great with big flying Hydra ooze.
Yeah. Hydroid Crisis.
That's the one.
Big flying ooze, yes. Yep. So I was also trying to kind of pick through the card file and look at maybe some commons and uncommons, because we're going to talk about a lot of mythics and rares. Mm-hmm. So something that might fit in here, if you play like a really high land count, is like a Boreal Grazer.
I think you do play a high land count in this for this reason, and with a Growth Spiral.
Mm-hmm. So a Boreal Grazer is 1 green mana for an 0/3 with reach. Mm-hmm. That's important.
Randomly with reach, yeah.
And, well, he's like a sloth guy in a tree.
Sure.
But when he comes into play, you put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. So it gives you a way to ramp up one, but you have to have the lands in hand. So it encourages you to play 28, maybe 29 lands. So that plus Growth Spiral, you always have lands to put in, and you can get to cast your big things. And if your big things are Hydroid Crisis, even when they're like for 4, you're starting to reload. Yep. And then find your other big stuff.
Yep. And with Kiora, all your big stuff is drawing you cards. So.
And then we can go really big.
Yeah, really big.
We can go Nissa Who Shakes the World.
Yeah. What's she do?
That is 3 green.
Yep.
For Nissa Planeswalker.
Yep.
Gotta dig out the sheet here. Her static ability is whenever you tap a forest for mana, add an additional green. So it doubles all your mana, because you're going to play only forests, because you're smart. Right? +1, put 3 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target, non-creature land you control. Untap it. It becomes a 0/3. It becomes a 0/0 elemental with vigilance and
haste.
It's still a land.
Yep.
So
they give it haste so you don't have to remember which land you played for the turn.
Yes. So worst case scenario, you can think of it as making a 3/3, but also it just untaps your mana.
Yeah.
So the next turn after you play Nissa, you have 12 mana.
Yeah.
There's some things you can do with 12 mana, but what's her minus? You get she's -8. She has like an actual ultimate. Lands you control have indestructible. Search your library for any number of forests and put them on to the battlefield tapped, and shuffle your library. It doesn't say basic forest; it says forest. So you can go get your shop
breeding
lands.
Pool.
Yep. So we can Nissa with 5 forests, and then we can start our next turn and have access to 12 mana.
Right. So what do you do with that 12 mana?
Well, you can play red, and you can Banefire people.
You could possibly have more than 12 mana if you use Kiora, right?
Yeah, like if you Kiora,
like double.
Yeah, you have lots of mana.
Yeah.
But like we need some creatures in here, maybe some more Boreal Grazers or something. But we can play Finale of Devastation.
Yeah. So this is the new Green Sun, right?
Yes.
It's X green for a sorcery. And it says search your library and graveyard for a creature card with CMC X or less and put it onto the battlefield.
Okay.
Then it also has another line of text that says if X is 10 or more, creatures you control get +X and haste.
So on turn 6 or turn 5, really, if you ramp your Nissa out, you can have access to 12 mana.
Yep.
Go get the biggest, dumbest thing. Give it haste.
Yeah.
And +10/+10.
Yep.
So like if you have like a random Land or Elf laying around,
it's huge.
It's a big Land or Elf.
Yeah.
But we need to give him trample.
Yeah.
We can't just have an 11. Well, there's this card that's stone unplayable.
Yeah.
but maybe it'll have a stay in the sun. And that's Endray's Forerunners.
Yep.
So that's from the previous set from Allegiances. And it's...
Yeah, it's from Allegiance.
It's 5 green, for a 7/7 with Trample and Haste. When it comes in the battlefield, all your other creatures get +2/+2, Vigilance and Trample. And
that's a big pig.
Yeah, it is a very big pig. That's even a bigger pig than our current favorite big pig.
Yeah.
But that comes into play, gives all your little nerds Trample. Your little nerds aren't little anymore because they've now gotten somehow +12/+12.
Yeah. Probably going to end the game.
And yeah, you're going to... And he also gets the buff because he comes into play and then you give it.
Correct.
So he's a 17/17 Trample Haste.
Yeah.
That usually will get the job done.
Yeah. Especially alongside of a 14/14 trampling Llanowar elf.
Yeah, I think
probably.
We can mission accomplished here.
Yeah,
we can
we
get you dead. Now, if they play any blue, we're getting negated and we are super sad.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, actually my last note on here is I don't know how competitive this deck is going to be, but man, is it going to be fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're going to lose, but you're going to be like, you know what I did? On turn 6, I just ended it with like 70 power.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yep.
People are like, oh, you're so awesome. You're like, yes, I am.
That one time it works, man. It's going to work.
Yeah. Or Royal Grazer does not have a defender. He can get in there. He can get in there. Our little sloth can go. So we can go big with Nissa, with Kiora.
Yeah.
So we can go big another way and like avoid paying mana for things. So we can go gruel monsters.
Yeah, and we've been kind of playing with both of us have been playing with a version of this on Arena. Obviously, it's going to change with some of these new cards.
Yeah. So we have Ilrag, the Razebore.
Yeah, this card is one of the first cards that was spoiled for the set, right? It was like the first day of week 1 spoilers, I think.
I don't remember, sure.
It was really early.
Okay.
And it got me really excited.
He is the second biggest pig.
Yeah, he's the best pig.
He's the best pig.
Yeah. So he's a 3 red for a 6/6 trampler.
Which is just good on rate.
Right, yeah. I mean, that's almost Verdurous Gearhulk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And whenever he attacks, you get to put a creature card from your hand into play attacking.
Yes.
For free.
Now, it returns back to your hand after the turn or after combat.
That just means you get to do it again.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. And he has the God text.
Right.
So if he is killed or put into exile, you get to put him 3 cards from the top of your deck. So they can't really kill him. You're just going to draw him in a couple turns?
Yeah. There's no way, unless they tuck it and make you shuffle, or I guess tuck it and mill or counter it. Like, he's just coming back.
Yes.
You can't exile it. You can't kill it. It's just coming back.
So you mentioned countering it.
Yeah.
Let's not let that happen.
Yeah. How are we going to do that?
So he needs haste.
Absolutely.
Right? Because you don't want to like play him and then cross your fingers and hope he doesn't die. You want your opponent to be tapped out, then you want him to be dead. Right? So Rhythm of the Wild fixes problem 1 of getting him countered.
Yep.
Can't do that anymore.
Also gives him haste.
It's great.
Yep.
And so you slam him into your rhythm, and then you just need some big dumb idiots. Hopefully big dumb idiots you could realistically cast at some point.
What's a really good big dumb idiot that you could realistically cast at some point?
I mean, there's a 12/12 with trample.
Yeah.
So Galta.
Yeah.
You pig into Galta.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That seems like a win.
Yep, seems like that would probably do the job.
And then there's a new card you could pig out, and that is the new Ronis. A God Eternal Ronis. There we go.
Yep, it's a 3 green for a 5/5 Death Touch. I don't know why you need Death Touch when you're a 5/5, but
I feel like you just smash people anyway.
Yeah. Well, what's Ronis do?
Ronis, when he comes into play, doubles the power of all the creatures you control. And gives them vigilance, right?
Yep, vigilance. Yeah. And then has the God text.
And it has the God text of tuck if he gets destroyed.
Yep.
Now, the vigilance isn't really useful because your guys are already tapped and attacking when you put Ronis off the big pig.
Right, but the +X
is real good.
Yeah.
Right. So like if you're curved, like not even super magical Christmas land.
Yeah.
If it's just like, Rhythm of the Wild into
Phoenix
or into Steel Leaf Champion.
Yeah, Steel Leaf.
And then Hasty Pig into Ronis, like.
I think Steel Leaf into Big Pig might be asking a little much of your mana.
Maybe. So find Phoenix or my boy Spellbreaker. Right? You play your Spellbreaker.
Yep.
He's like a 5/5. Yep. You play your Hasty Pig, and then you like Ronis, and you have a 12/12 Trampler from your pig, or 12/6, a 10/6 Trampler off your Spellbreaker.
Yep.
And a 5/5 Death Toucher.
Seems pretty good.
I think you win that game.
Probably.
I think that works out well. You can't get settled.
That's just true. You cannot get settled if you have Gruul Spellbreaker out.
I forgot to play my Gruul Spellbreaker and got settled yesterday. I was like, it's fine. It's mono white. I'm just going to attack. Got settled. Got 4 lands.
Oh, man, you got LSV'd.
Still won the game. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that, like, the pig just gets to put in that just ruin the game. And it's, like, I think some split of Rhythm of the Wild and the old Dovin not Dovin Bond, Domri Raid.
Yeah.
That gives all your creatures, gives you a mana and gives you Riot.
Yeah.
Right? That's another way to just give the pig haste. I think some split of those 2 cards so you can like reliably on turn like 5 have a hasty pig is going to do some silly things.
Yeah, I think so too.
Ronis is just good in like a green stompy deck.
Yeah.
Right? Having like 2 or 3 at the top end and just
Null Hide Ferox into Ronis.
Yeah, and you're just like, here's a 12/6. Like, you had to chump it anyway, but you also have my Steel Leaf Champion and some other, like, you have my Pelt Collector that's now like an 8/4 Trampler.
Yeah.
You win the game. I got turned up. So, to get out of all the mythics, and we have Crunch Wrangler.
Crunch.
I hope I said that right. Crunch Wrangler.
Yep.
He's 1 in the green for a warrior.
That's important.
It's very important. And he's a 2/1 with trample.
Oh, he gets a +1/+1 counter whenever something bigger comes in?
When a creature with power 4 or more comes in.
Okay.
So, like a reasonable curve is like Pelt Collector into this. You put a counter on your Pelt Collector. And then you play a Gruul Spellbreaker.
Put a counter on your Pelt Collector and the Crunch Ranger.
Yeah, now you have 10 power.
On turn 3.
Yeah. And you're going to play something else big next turn because your deck's built to make your crunch big. And you're going to have 12 trampling power on turn 4. Probably win that game too.
Yep. I would imagine so.
Can't get settled. That's like a reasonable curve. It can kind of go in for like Crawl Harpooner. Or it can go in for like Thorn Lieutenant.
Yep.
In that 2-drop slot. It makes the deck a little softer to probably Esper.
And Chain Whirler.
But makes it more explosive.
Right.
And like you can stick a Galta in there too somewhere and you can just get there.
That actually might be a good arena deck because like the games that you have it and you just crush them early. And then, if you get Chain Whirler, you just scoop it up.
I never seem to be the person who has it. It's like, oh, they had it again. Then I play their deck, and I never have it.
So we have one more card here.
One more card.
It's in the Gruul colors. I don't know if this is necessarily the shell for it or not.
Yeah, it might go more in the like go big strategy.
Yep.
That's Living Twister.
Yeah, so Living Twister is green, red, red.
Yes.
For a 2/5.
Blocks everything.
Blocks the mono red deck. And it has 2 kind of unique abilities. The first one is you can pay a colorless and a red and discard a land from your hand, and you can shock something.
Yeah.
It's any target.
Yep.
The second is you can pay a green and return a tapped land you control to your hand.
Which basically turns into...
Shock something.
Yes, but your 3 mana, 1 red, green, take a land from the battlefield, turn it into a shock.
Yep.
So that's a good use of resources.
Yeah, it's... protection against flood.
Yeah, you can never flood out because all your lands are shocks.
Yep.
And so it could be good as a way to like kind of bridge in like the ramp deck we were talking about,
Mm-hmm.
where you just get to play something that can block and then pick up your lands and throw them.
It's kind of awkward that it's like green, red, red.
Yeah, it is.
So like it'd be hard to splash that in your Simic deck, like your base Simic deck.
Yeah.
But I guess if you were Gruul's, because the blues it's only one blue pip for the Hydra and Hydroid Crisis.
Yeah.
So maybe your Gruul's splash blue.
Yeah. It's a neat card. I don't know if it's good enough.
Yeah.
But
it's cool though.
Yeah. I think the kind of the stompy stuff, there's probably a just big dumb stompy deck.
Oh yeah,
just
I'm sure
finding
there is.
it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move from fair creature based magic
to Brian's favorite kind of magic.
Unfair, terrible magic.
Yep.
Where maybe only one person gets to play. That person's me.
Hopefully.
Or one person gets to play and it's my opponent as I do nothing. Nothing at all. So that's Bolas's Citadel.
Yeah, so Bolas's Citadel was another one that was spoiled really early, right?
Yeah, we've already talked about this guy a little bit.
We did, yeah.
We've refined our speculative list now.
Do you want to tell him what it does again?
Sure. It's 3 black for an artifact.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see if I can read this wall of text here. You may look at the top card of your library at any time.
Okay.
You may play the top card of your library.
Mm-hmm.
If you cast a spell this way, you pay life equal to its casting cost, as opposed to paying mana.
Right.
And then you can tap it and sacrifice 10 non-land permanents, and each opponent loses 10 life.
Okay.
So I feel like this encourages you to play cards that gain you life, particularly cards that gain you more life when they're cast than they cost.
Right.
Because that just kind of lets you go infinite. And you got to play a bunch of permanents. Doesn't matter if they're good.
Right.
You just
have
need
to exist.
stuff. You need stuff so you can live long enough to kill them.
It would also be kind of nice to have either a shuffle effect or a draw effect, so that if you get a second land on top, you don't get stuck.
Yes. So thoughts were... So I thought, like, you had like an artifact build. So what was your artifact build
Yeah, so I was thinking Fountain of Renewal, because it gains you a life every turn.
It's a mana.
Yep. And you can also sacrifice it to draw a card.
Okay.
Which gets you past that second, like if you hit your second land, you can draw a card, get through it. It costs 1 mana. So on the first turn that it exists, you're getting back that life that you paid to cast it.
Yeah.
The second was Navigators Compass. It's a 1-drop that gains you 3 life when it enters a battlefield. It basically has no text, yes.
But it gains you 3 life.
I mean, technically, it could help you cast the Citadel.
Yeah, it is 3 black mana.
Yeah. But yeah, basically, it's just 1 mana, gain 3 life, which is exactly what the card or
the deck needs.
Is looking for. And then you have Erasca Relic, which I believe you sack for life in a card.
Yeah, like when you have the City's Blessing?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So once you have your 10 permanents that you can start activating your Citadel, you can sack it for a card. So I was thinking kind of like an Abzan build, where you're playing things like Revitalize, trash all-star card, Sovereign's Bite. It's awful. But it deals 3 and gains you 3.
Yep.
And then any of the white creatures from Ixalan that gains you life, right? They're going to give you a chance to get permanents on the battlefield, maybe block, and then get sacrificed later on. Bond of Flourishing, which is a new card. It's 1 and a green. You get to look at the top 3 cards.
Okay.
And put a permanent in your hand.
Okay.
And then you gain 3 life. So this helps you dig to your Bolas's Citadel faster. A way to get through the lands would be Wayward Swordtooth. You could just get through your lands by just playing them off the top by playing an extra one. So that would help, because there was a Dinos deck with Experimental Frenzy that relied on Wayward Swordtooth to get through pockets of land. So just anything that gains life lets you kind of go through and play cards off your Citadel.
Also, Kiora untaps a permanent.
Okay.
So if you end up with 20 permanents, 10 you. That might be a little too cute.
That might be a little too much. She is green, so that does get us there.
Yep.
And like if you played white, you might not be able to play the green then, but if you played white, you could play like Kaya's Wrath and like keep yourself alive long enough to not to get to your engine going with Bolas of Citadel.
Right. And if you're playing a bunch of life gain creatures in that build, Kaya's Wrath would also gain you life.
Yeah. So you just kind of have this way to, hopefully just go through your deck all in like one turn.
What about that? I just thought of this, that vampire that like builds up your life loss, and then when he dies, you gain it back.
Gosh, Paladin of something.
Paladin of Atonement.
Yeah, it's like 1 and a white for a 1/1.
Yeah, I think so. And you put a counter on it whenever you.
I think it's at the end of turn. Like if you lost life that turn.
Oh, so it's just one.
It's just one counter.
That might be cute with Bolas of Citadel, though.
Yeah, like you like pay a life, put a counter on him, and when you sacrifice him, you get a bunch of life back.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, go real deep. Lich's Mastery.
Oh yeah.
A bunch of uncastable 6-drops. Let's go. Let's have some fun with that.
They're both 3 and 3 blacks. So.
They are. And they both want you to gain life.
Yeah.
We did it.
Sure, broke the format. You heard it here first, folks.
Already, we're done. We're done here. Number 1 mythic, here I come. Here I come. Bolas of Citadel.
Sure, you play that. I'll play actual Bolas.
You'll probably win. Damn it. All right. So we kind of have all these powerful things.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of dug through the card file and tried to find some like cute interactions.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe not, you're not going to build a deck around them,
right?
But they're interactions that could come up and be powerful when they happen.
Yeah, like if you're in those colors already, maybe they're worth looking into.
So I have an unnatural obsession with Pelt Collector.
Hey, Pelt Collector's a good card.
So Pelt Collector with Watley's Raptor.
Yeah.
So Watley's Raptor is green-white.
Mm-hmm.
Or he has Vigilance.
Yeah, it's a 2/3 Vigilance.
And he proliferates.
When it enters a battlefield, it proliferates.
I said that smoothly, guys. So if you stack your triggers right, you put your counter on your Pelt Collector, then proliferate. Yep. And now you end up
swinging with a 3/3 on turn 2.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
That'll get the job done.
Yep.
Then you play like a 4-power thing, a Gideon, and now you have a 4/4 Trampler on turn 3.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So we win that game.
Probably.
Cool. I'm glad we agree. The Neoform, what does that one do?
So Neoform is a sorcery. It's a green and a blue. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature. And you get to tutor for a creature card with CMC equal to 1 plus the sacrifice creature's mana cost.
Okay.
Put it on the battlefield, and then put a 1/1 counter on it.
So, something that really likes 1/1 counters is Growth Chamber Guardian. So you can sacrifice a 1-drop, and then get a 3/3 Growth Chamber Guardian. You put a counter on it, and you draw yourself another 2-drop. So that like lets you start your Growth Chamber Guardian chain.
Yep. So it's kind of like playing an additional Growth Chamber Guardian.
Yeah. Because you just get to go find it. You have to have a 1-drop, but you can have a land war elf.
Now, in playing that Gruul deck that we were talking about that we've both been playing on Arena, the games where I have chained 2 or 3 Growth Chamber Guardians together
are the games you win.
Handily.
Yeah, those are the games that you like beat Esper Control.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, I'm going to draw a 4/4 every turn.
Yeah, good luck. Yep.
Thank God.
It's kind of weird that this is an uncommon, right?
It is, considering like Eldritch Evolution was a rare.
Yeah.
I think it was +2.
It was +2, you're right.
But still, someone, I think LSV today on LR said, we can get rid of our Allosaurus Rider and make it a Grizzlebrand on turn 2. That's solid.
I did that for a while.
You did?
Yeah.
You did. I remember being like, what the hell does this card do?
It gets Grizzlebrand is what it does.
I was like, what is this Allosaurus Rider? Remember that brief time where Allosaurus Rider was like $10?
Yeah. It's because it had 0 text except for it was free and it was a CMC 7.
Yeah. It was a star where star is equal to the number 4 you controlled, which was like
I think
1.
it was just lands.
Lands?
Yeah.
So 1/1. 7 mana, 1/1.
Sure.
Cool.
Goes and gets Iona.
Or Grizzlebrand.
Yep.
There we go.
Wins the game.
Solid modern tech here, guys. Let's go get your Allosaurus Riders. No.
Yep.
I don't have any. Oh no.
I do.
I just priced
You can
myself
use
out.
mine.
I just priced myself out. Give away this tech for free. So then we have a bunch of cards that look powerful, that like read powerful, but we don't really have a home for them yet.
Right.
So I think the first one you put on the list was Ugin.
Yeah, it's Ugin the Ineffable. Can't F with this.
You can't F with him, no.
No, he doesn't F well.
That's high quality content.
So Ugin is 6 generic mana. Starting loyalty is 4. He makes all your colorless spells cast 2 less to cast. Which is kind of odd that it's on a 6 mana planeswalker.
Yeah, what am I ramping to after 6?
Late Steel? I don't know. Like it's strange. I'm not sure. His +1 is exile the top card of your library face down, and you may look at it. Create a 2/2 colorless spirit, and when that spirit dies, you get to draw the card exiled with it.
Yeah, it's basically manifest.
Kinda, sorta, except you can't flip it.
Yeah, and when it dies, you just put it in your hand.
Right. So he makes like little mini Matter Shapers.
Yeah.
And then he has a -3 of destroy target permanent that's 1 or more colors.
Seems good.
So basically anything.
Yes.
I think both of those abilities are great.
Yeah, there's nothing in standard I think that really would reward you for that.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I got to 6. I need to get to 8 now.
Yeah. I also think there's probably better things you can be doing with 6 mana.
Probably.
But the +1 is great for card advantage, and it builds you an army.
Yes.
So it kind of does 2 things at the same time. And then the -3 protects itself.
No, I think it's solid. It's just where, like we said, where does it go?
Yeah, I don't know what the home is.
Right. We have Karn, the Great Creator. So this is a 4 mana Karn with loyalty 5. So a ton of loyalty. For 4 mana.
Yep.
And he's Null Rod.
Only for your opponents.
Yes. So activated abilities of artifacts your opponents control can't be activated.
Right.
So that's good.
That's real good.
And then +1, less good. Until your next turn, up to 1 target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact creature with power and toughness equal to its converted mana cost. So there's not a ton of artifacts that are probably going to get played. I'm not quite sure what that's going to like turn on and make like a dude.
Yeah, that's odd.
Yeah. Someone did bring up in EV, brought up that in a Modern and Legacy, it kills Chalice of the Void.
Yeah,
is any creature, is any artifact.
Any artifact, it's not
so
just
you can
yours.
kill your EE, kill an opponent's EE, kill a Chalice.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Cool.
Then the -2, you get to take an artifact you control from outside the game and put it into your hand.
And that's really more relevant than the first one.
Yeah, so it kind of lets you can have a toolbox of artifacts. I thought it might be good in the prison deck.
I thought it would be good in the prison deck also.
I was told I was wrong. Only time will tell.
Yeah, I don't know that you're wrong.
Right, just being
it's your
able
5th copy of every lock piece you need. It's your 5th bridge. It's your 5th whatever you want.
Yeah, and like instead of running the risk of drawing your silver bullets, they're in your board. Right, he might be a little bit slower than we're sometimes, but you still just have.
Well, I mean, all the artifacts you're getting are cheap though.
Yeah.
It's not like, I mean, you still have to have mana to cast Whir. It's not like it's free.
Yeah.
So you Karn and go get a Pithing Needle. You Karn and, go get your bridge. You Karn and get your welding jar or whatever.
Your Witchbane Orb.
Witchbane, well.
Which is really hard to get with a Whir.
Yeah.
But I've not played that deck because I'm not a terrible person. So I'm at no point to speak about it. But it could also be good like in some like Tezzerator deck in Legacy.
Right.
There's a lot of places where it could be reasonable.
Yep.
And then we have James in the notes. This is my kind of card. What kind of card is your kind of card, sir?
Oh, this is my girl. Liliana Dreadhorde General.
Okay.
This is the kind of card that gets my blood flowing.
All right.
She is a 6 mana planeswalker, 4 and 2 black. Comes in with a ton of loyalty. Starts with 6.
Okay.
She has a static ability that says whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card.
Okay, so basically she is Midnight Reaper without the life loss.
It's any creature.
Is any creature? Whatever a creature you control dies.
Right. But it counts tokens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which is important because she makes tokens.
She does. Her +1 is make a 2/2 black zombie.
Okay.
That when it dies will draw you a card.
Pretty good.
Yep. Her -4 is each player sacrifices 2 creatures.
Which clears the board out and draws you 2 cards if you have 2 creatures.
2 cards. Yeah, that seems great. That's everything I want to do in Magic.
Kill my opponent's stuff and draw cards?
Absolutely.
There we go.
Yep. And then if you haven't gotten enough advantage through making an army of zombies and sacrificing them to clear your opponent's board, her ultimate basically wins you the game. It's a -9. Each opponent chooses a permanent they control of each type, sacrifices the rest.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good, yeah.
So they're left with like a land, a creature, a planeswalker.
A planeswalker.
Okay. I think you win all the games that you get to do. You have her out for 4 turns.
I honestly don't think you even ever ultimate her. Like, I think she generates enough advantage through making zombies and making your opponent sacrifice stuff that you probably don't even ever need to ultimate her.
That'd be fun.
Oh, sure, it'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, getting a bunch of tutus, like you can win a game with a bunch of tutus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty excited to be.
Yeah.
I don't know what deck she slots into.
Like, I think the lazy swap is just 6 mana Vraska for...
Insultai, you mean?
Yeah, Insultai for Lily.
Yeah, I don't even... Like, I'm sure she's good there, but I don't even think that's her best home. I think she's better than Vraska there, but I don't think that's her best home. I think she's in some sort of super grindy aristocrat-style deck that...
Okay, we're killing your guys gets you advantage. I mean, you've wanted a 0 mana sack outlet.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of a 0 mana sack. It's a 6 mana sack outlet. But.
After the first 6 mana investment, you get some free sacking eventually.
Yeah.
So we're gonna stop talking about new stuff.
Yep.
Talk about old, hopefully dying things.
Stale things.
Stale things. Like that loaf of bread that you find, and you're like, what was this from? Oh, it's moldy and awful.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? So then I'm talking about Arena.
Yeah.
Woo.
The Arena metagame has not changed.
Has not changed. Yeah. So I will say Arena was a little fresh with the Singleton format. Mm-hmm. That's the only kind of commander I'm willing to play. Competitive, one-on-one. 60 cards involved.
And no actual commander.
It's why Richard Garfield intended. So I played a lot of Singleton because it was fun and relaxing. I didn't have to worry about, like, if I lost 2 games in a row, like tumbling down out of a rank.
Right.
So I played mostly that, and then when it went away, I think on Sunday I hit Diamond 1, and then basically didn't play any ranked matches until Friday. Mm-hmm. And then Saturday I hit Mythic.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Went back to Gruul.
Yep.
Gruul is good still.
Yep.
I tweeted out, I was like, in case you people forgot, Gruul is still the truth.
Yep.
I win 60% of my games when I play red and green cards. I win no percent of my games when I play white cards. It's awful. But in like a small sample of 37 games, it was still like 35% Esper and 25% red with a little bit of white to get to 70% of the meta game.
Yeah, I didn't play much Arena at all, and the little bit I did play was best of 3.
Okay.
And it seemed like all I played was Sultai decks.
Which is fine. What were you playing?
I was on a sweet Rakdos build with Judith and Priest of Forgotten Gods.
So you just got to beat up on people?
Yeah, I was just beating up on people. Pinging off all their little stuff, making them sack their big stuff, and stomping them with phoenixes and such. Yeah, I mean, it's my kind of Magic.
Yeah, so hopefully Arena gets shook up and we get some new decks.
I mean, it'll definitely get shaken up, even if it's just for a little while people are figuring out the format. It's definitely going to get shaken up.
Yeah, so if you're trying to make, like, you know, a late season push for Mythic, like once the new set comes out, if you notice you're playing against a bunch of garbage decks, it might be time to just settle in with mono red and just
punish people,
beat people up. Because I know the start of right after Ravnica Allegiance came out, I was like, I'm going to play some fun decks, and just like proceeded to get like turned 4 by mono red over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So do that to some people if you want to like make a run up the ladder real quick, because people are going to be playing some like bad mana bases and some bad cards.
Well, exactly what's going to happen is this is going to be true for me and you right now, but it might be a little bit late for you guys. Tomorrow starts the streamer event.
Yes.
So the streamers get to play with new cards first.
They do.
And I imagine all of the decks you're going to see this coming weekend and maybe through next week are going to be decks from the streamer event, people testing them out.
Probably.
So if those decks you notice have a weakness, it's probably time to exploit it, not play with new, weird actions, fun decks, whatever.
Yeah, like if you're really trying to grind the ladder, you need to be ruthless and be like mono red will punish everyone who stumbles on their bad mana base.
Yep.
Or Esper will punish everyone who doesn't have enough ways to deal with control decks. Because a lot of times in a new format, people are super soft to counter spells.
Yeah.
Because they just want to play their big dumb thing.
Well, they're also trying to figure out like how their deck fits in the meta.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're trying to figure out what powerful things they can do and kind of skimp on interaction.
Yeah. Like you build your deck and it has no removal because you've got 36 sweet cards you want to play and who wants to play a lava coil.
Right. You want to try and
Pig some people. Wink, wink.
Throw a Palaka Worm into play.
Gain 7/7 trampler.
Yep.
It's pretty solid. I don't think red can beat that.
I don't think so either.
I gained 7 for no mana.
Yep.
Woo.
I guarantee you red can't beat that.
Yeah.
Especially when you do it again the next turn.
Mm-hmm. Because they can't ever kill a 6/6.
Right.
Like, forget about that.
Yeah.
So there. So probably Thursday until really the first SCG event happens.
Right.
Like that's what's gonna set the best of 3 meta game.
Mm-hmm.
The best of 1 meta game is gonna do its own thing.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have like a week, maybe 7 days where you can just kind of, if you want, play mono red or mono white and just get under people and run them over.
Punish people that are stumbling, trying out new stuff.
Yeah. So, like we said a few episodes ago, right? The mono red usually does well the first week because everyone else is playing bad cards.
Right. So if you're going to an event coming up, probably not this weekend because it's pre-release, but the next weekend, you definitely want to look, if not to mono red, to something
it's aggressive,
slanted.
Yeah.
To punish the people that are trying to figure out the cool, sweet, interactive decks.
So just keep that in mind if you want to get some easy wins.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I think we're just about done.
Yeah, I think we're all set here.
So thanks again to Juan and Myrtle Beach Games.
Yep, you're the best one.
For hosting us.
Yep.
Got to submit our game entries. So.
Yeah, don't forget to submit. We're looking for all of you to engage with us a little bit and let us know what you think.
Yeah. So you might be like, all of us. We just cracked 1,000 downloads today.
We did.
So 14 episodes, 1,000 downloads. I went through, we have downloads in South Korea. So we're bigger than StarCraft.
Hello, South Korea.
Annyeonghaseyo.
Yeah? Wow, good job.
I'm a Babo Hindungi, which is a dumb white guy.
Alrighty then. That makes 2 of us.
There we go.
Babo Hindogi.
Yeah. We have like 3 people in Finland that have downloaded.
Wow.
Yeah, we're all over the place. We are worldwide here.
That's crazy.
3 people in Australia. Like, yeah, we're worldwide.
We're doing it.
Here.
Hello to all you people not in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, play our game.
Yeah. We will send the prize internationally if need be.
Absolutely.
I would be thrilled to send the prize internationally.
Yep.
Like, we'll even write like America's number 2 on it if you want. Like, whatever you need. Like, it'd be pretty sweet.
Whatever you want to do.
Have fun at pre-release.
Yeah, pre-release is my favorite time to play Magic. I hope all you guys are headed out, gonna crack some sealed kits and have a blast.
So if I say this on the podcast, maybe it'll actually happen. I'm going to try to record and post a sealed event from Arena on Thursday or Friday.
Awesome.
So I'll try to get that up on our YouTube page. So it'll be like our first thing. So I just want to try to get that out there and like have a taste of the format before actual pre-release happens, so people can kind of see what's going on with crazy Planeswalkers and stuff. So we're gonna try to make that happen. No editing, just raw, uncut.
Yeah, send it out there.
Me yelling at people. How are you playing that card? And then dying to it. Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
It'll be fun.
So with that, we'll see you next time.
Yeah, we'll catch you at FNM and hopefully pre-release.
Yeah. All right, have a good time.
Yep. See you guys.